Less than 3 months ago, I was in Dallas, Texas, boarding a flight to Germany. So the adventure begins today. CarMax this morning, and I'm at the DFW airport getting ready to board my flight that will eventually end in Frankfurt. Only 3 months to the day before I got on the plane, the Lord gave me a vision, a new mission. But in order to accomplish His objective, I had to sell my house, my car, and all my furniture, including my 100-inch TV. But how hard could it be to simply jettison everything you own and hop a plane to Europe? And if the Lord required this of you, could you do it? Hey, I'm author Mike Ramsey, and this is Mike Ramsey Books, where I show people how to transform their ordinary relationship with God into a spiritual one. If you haven't already subscribed, be sure to hit the red subscribe button and ring the notification bell now. Matthew 19:21. Jesus said to him, "If you want to be complete, go and sell all your possessions and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven, and come and follow me." The day I received an offer on my house, which I talked about in a previous video, and which I'll leave a link to in the description below, I hadn't done anything. But since it was a cash offer, I didn't have much time to move. I had to be completely out in 1 week. Everything I owned, everything had to go in order to accomplish the objective, the mission, the thing the Lord set forth before me. Anything that wouldn't fit in my suitcase had to be immediately sold, given away, or disposed of. There was no time to think or any time to grieve the loss of all my things. On the day I closed, I still had a house full of stuff. The real estate agent said I didn't have until the end of the day like I thought. I had to be cleared out and gone in 2 hours. After I closed, I went back to the house. I had to dispose of everything that was still in the house. Sadly, there was no time to sell, donate, or give anything away. Everything had to go immediately. This meant I had to throw away everything I owned as fast as I could. I literally opened up kitchen cabinets and threw away all my plates, dishes, cups and saucers, crystal, glassware, silverware, and nice small appliances, all as fast as I could. Then I went into my bedroom closet. Every piece of clothing, suits, ties, about 50 cotton dress shirts, and numerous boxes in the closet, some of which I hadn't even gone through. Everything went in garbage bags and out the door as fast as I could. 2 hours later, 20-some 30-gallon cleanup bags sat on the curb in front of my very soon-to-be ex-house. It was somewhat of a sobering experience. And by the way, just because I threw everything away doesn't necessarily mean everything went to the dump site. In my old area, there are night raiders, people who come through the neighborhood after dark, sometimes even before dark, and rummage through your garbage, looking for anything of value. A couple of weeks earlier, I cleaned up after my dog in the backyard. I had shoveled a small bag of dog poo. The next morning, along with a broken Keurig machine in the garbage can, someone had also stolen the bag of dog poo from my curb. Now, when the Lord arranges a little exercise like this for you, you begin to see the futility of things. When everything you own and treasure, everything you've taken good care of over the years, all of it goes into the garbage and is taken, probably by the same guy who took the bag of dog poo, you quickly realize all these things you're holding on to, they are actually holding on to you. Leaving all these things behind was relatively easy. It was, in fact, a freeing experience. But there was still one thing, one last thread, one thing I cherished more than anything else in this world. Other than my parents and my children who truly love me, there's really no one else. Not even my ex-wife or any of my ex-girlfriends ever really loved me. None of them ever loved me as much as my dog. Sweetie Pie is a 10-year-old yellow lab mix. At no point did I ever entertain the thought of leaving her behind. And I'll tell you right now, when this dog dies, I am going to cry like a baby. In the weeks before I sold my house and left on my great adventure, which is what my friend at church called it, I did a lot of research into what I needed to do in order to bring Sweetie Pie with me to Europe. Initially, I had booked a flight to Paris, somewhere I've always dreamed of going. But I learned that France does not allow dogs to be brought into the country via airplanes. So I changed my flight reservations to Germany. That way I could bring Sweetie Pie. I also booked a flight out of DFW, even though I live close to George Bush International here in Houston. I wanted Sweetie Pie to have a nonstop flight. I figured it would be much less stressful for her. I also ordered a brand new, larger kennel for her. That way she'd have a little more room to move around in. And also very important, I called my vet's office and asked them for advice. After I was out of the house, I went to a hotel. I only had a few days before my flight left. There was only one thing left to do, which could not be done ahead of time. I had to get an International Health Certificate for Sweetie Pie. You must have one of these in order to transport an animal into another country. The reason I couldn't get the health certificate ahead of time like everything else is because it's only valid for 10 days. It's recommended you take your dog and get it about a week before you leave. You want to give yourself enough time in case there is a problem, but not too much time or it might expire before you get there. I couldn't take Sweetie Pie to her regular vet because she wasn't certified to do international health certificates. I had to take her across town to another vet, one of only a few vets in all of Houston who does these. I guess there's not a whole lot of people who, like me, want to bring their dog with them to Europe. But there was a problem. For some reason, my regular vet didn't put her microchip number on her rabies vaccination certificate. It was on all of her other shot records, but not on the one record that it had to be on. For the next several days, I tried and I tried to get a hold of her. All she had to do is reissue the certificate with the microchip number on it. But she couldn't be reached. She was busy out doing things with her kids and couldn't be disturbed. The outing with the kids was followed by severe illness. Again, she couldn't be disturbed, and there was nobody else in the office who was willing to do it. What should have been a phone call and a fax turned into days. I had to reschedule the flight in order to give her time to recover. But it was to no avail. Even though I was extremely nice, her staff wouldn't take my calls and wouldn't call me back when I left messages. At this point, I know enough to know when things don't make sense. Either something evil is messing with me, or the Lord is trying to tell me something. And since I didn't sense anything evil, I knew the Lord was orchestrating these events. He was speaking to me. Now, you might be thinking, why not just have her revaccinated? The reason is there's a 30-day quarantine period after the vaccination. Then she'd have to be rechecked. It would be at least another month. Not only would I have spent the next month eating out, sitting in a teeny tiny, cheap hotel room with a big dog next to an all-night crack house, which cost 3 times more than an apartment in Germany, it was getting close to the holiday season. To boot, I had already changed the flight reservations twice. I couldn't change them again. I'd have to eat the old tickets and buy new tickets at the higher holiday rate. I don't have a lot of money, and it was becoming increasingly more expensive. I had to stop and pray. Lord, what are you doing? What are you trying to tell me? Next time, I'll tell you how God intervened and why angels were dispatched on my behalf. You'll get to see a side of God that most people don't know and could never fathom. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you haven't visited my other channel, Michael Ramsey Travels, be sure and do so now. That way you don't miss a single video. Can't wait until next time. Like me on Facebook and visit me at michaelramseybooks.com.